Hi, I'm Matt, and this is a short video about fixing foundation systems in the state of Michigan. So, inspecting this house today as part of a general home inspection. And I am not a structural engineer, but my business partner is, and we do structural stuff all the time, structural inspections and write reports. He's a PE professional engineer, and he has a PhD in engineering. So this house, I was told, had a foundation repair done. It cost $40,000, and I was also told because of the repair they can't afford the house anymore, so now they have to sell it and move. So I'm giving my opinion on this. I see a crack in the wall here. That's the kitchen window in the brick. This house is probably built in the 60s. Well, I know it was built in the 60s. So it's got about a 1/4 inch crack there. You know, over 50 something years the house has been here, so it's got a 1/4 inch crack there. So they called the foundation repair company. They did helical piers here and charged them $40,000. And I am a licensed builder, and I have a license to teach construction. I have about 10 dozen certificates and continuing ed classes that I do, so I know a little bit about foundations. I've had classes on it, college courses. I'm just not an engineer. Okay, so no cracks here. There was a crack over here, and it looks like they filled it in with mortar. I can tell the mortar doesn't quite match. So I think they did a repair here. But what I believe is going on here, and what is very common, is okay, this is on a slab and this is on a basement. So this is maybe 42 inches in the ground. This is 8 feet in the ground. 7 or 8 feet. So they move differently. When the ground freezes and thaws, it moves. So this part of the house moves a little bit differently from that part of the house. So the crack on the other side that I showed you first is right about, I can show you. This one's here. That one's over there. See that window over there? See that window? That's the bay window I was showing you on the other side. Okay, so it's right about where this starts. A little bit back. Not right on the corner like this one is, but close to it. So I think the part with the basement's moving a little bit differently from the part on the slab. So if this were my house, I would just fill in the cracks with mortar and call it a day. You're probably good for another 50 years before the crack becomes significant again. But these people spent 40 grand getting this fixed, and now they can't afford the house anymore, and now they have to sell it and move because I guess they got well, anyway, they can't afford it, and now they're selling it. So this is a beware video. So, and I had a similar thing happen. A friend of my wife's calls us one night and says, "Oh my God, the guy was just here from the foundation company. He said my house is sinking." So I go running over there. He wanted my opinion, so I go running over there, and there's a hairline crack in the basement wall. I'm not kidding you, a hairline crack. And his name was Ruben. I said, "Ruben, you know," they said they told him on a scale of 1 to 10 his crack was a 9. And okay, these guys don't know anything, some of them. They're salesmen, and they get a commission on every job they sell. So again, this is all my opinion. They're trying to sell you something. So I gave him my opinion. I think he still let him do a little bit of work, you know, inject it with epoxy or whatever, which is fine. That's a great idea to inject a crack with epoxy, but you know, they wanted some enormous number. They wanted to do helical piers. I think they love helical piers, a lot of these companies. Another time I was doing an inspection on a relatively new house in a new subdivision. There were no trees around there. So relatively new house, no trees, so no roots in the drainage system, okay? But the basement was flooded. It was a new house, it was empty, it was vacant. I think it was a foreclosure back during the crash. So, and the realtor warned me about that. Realtor was buying it, and he warned me. And so I brought my rubber boots over there. I go in the basement. It had a sump pump, so I go over to the sump pump, and the breaker was tripped. So I hit the breaker, it tripped again. So the sump pump had a short. That was the problem. The sump pump had a short, it quit working, so the basement filled up with water. If your sump pump stops working, your basement will fill up with water. So it had about a foot of water in there. So I told them all you need to do is get the sump pump fixed. You put a new sump pump in there. If there's a short, somewhere in that circuit there's a short. Probably the sump pump. So he knew me, but he wasn't sure if he should believe me or not, because he had a foundation company come over there and they told him that the drainage system was full of roots. I don't know where these trees were, because there weren't any trees in that subdivision. I don't know where these roots are coming from. And they were going to bust up the floor and put a new drainage system in, and he'd be all good. And it was, you know, I forget what it was, 20 grand, something like that. And I said, well, what did the guy do? You know, how did he come to that conclusion? And the realtor says, well, he walked down to the stair in the basement there before you get in the water, and he just looked around, and he came back up and went into a sales pitch. I go, well, you know, what does that tell you? So anyway, just beware, folks. Beware. They want your money. They're not necessarily looking out for you. I'm not saying they're all crooks, okay? There's good people in construction, but there's a lot of bad ones. So beware. Bye.